Hello, 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 and good afternoon. We are the McCollums.
I am TD McCollum.
I am Jennifer McCollum. So nice to meet you, see you, all those good things. This is Matters of the Heart. This is our space to talk about all things relationship. Everyone is welcome, married, single, trying to find somebody, ain't trying to find somebody, do you. You know what I'm saying?
Side piece shouters.
Okay. Okay. It's for everyone. So welcome. As you can see, if you can see, this particular video is talking about how we, the McCullums, became the McCullums.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm hungry and half sleepy, so please excuse me, but we're gonna get through this in a great way. So hello Joseph, peace and blessings. So Um, let's start. So when we were talking about it, you started off, so you can go, Ty, because I
Absolutely.
think
I want to
sometimes it's
take,
kind of difficult to talk about ourselves.
I know it is so difficult because it's our humbleness not to talk about ourselves. But we're going to step out of our shell and go ahead and release some information about ourselves and how we got here together. The reason why we started Matters of the Heart is to have the conversation about relationships. We, on our travels up and down the road from South Carolina to DC to Florida to Alabama, we would talk about different things involving our relationship.
And even things that don't involve our relationship, things that other people are going through. And we always have really great conversation. And I feel like, if we're talking, things are getting better, things are getting done. So we thought to bring this conversation to this podcast so that we can all get each other's points of view. I love to hear other points of view because we all have our own different situations, the things that we've gone through, the things that have shaped our thought process of relationship. So with all that, let's bring it all to the table so that we can learn from each other. That's a wise thing to do. Let's just learn. So Tyrone, how did we get together?
Uh, it's a very interesting story, love story. We both were in the band program. She played French horn, I played saxophone, and naturally, being in the same environment, same space,
For
we
hours, all the
bumped
time.
into each other and had conversations, became friends.
Now
Uh,
he was not Let me tell y'all something. I'm an amazing person. I feel like you guys are like seeing it. Like there's amazingness flowing right in this region, right? And Tyrone, he was a dude that um I wasn't going to crack easily. When I talked to him, everything was very surface. He never told me anything about himself, and that's not something that I'm used to. So I decided that he's going to be my friend and he's going to share his life story with me. So the way that I went about that was sharing literally everything with Tyrone. Everything from sex to I mean everything. Now it wasn't anything to try to entice him. I was just telling him what was going on in my life, what was going on at the moment. And a lot of times when I called him a lot. We were just talking about life. And I told him a lot about my life. And eventually, I chipped at that brick wall because, when you're talking with someone, eventually you're going to have to share something, especially if they're sharing so much. You got to release something. And I wore him down like Steve Urkel did Laura.
yes, she did wore me down. And I'll explain. The reason why I was so standoffish was, and this will be telling to a lot of fellas out there that could relate. I was hurt by someone in the past, and I refuse to allow people to get close to me. That's as simple as that. You know, you can be my friend, but at a surface level, like I will learn all I can about you before I allow you to know about me.
Yeah, just a quick aside here. I think that is something that's kind of different with women. Women, we're a little bit more forgiving and able to give brand new people a chance. And with dudes, when they get hurt, it's like, never again. I will never let anyone enter my inner sanctum of greatness. So, yeah, I understand. I didn't understand then, but, I was just on my journey. So, what happened after that?
As I got to know Jennifer and all of her secrets, like
I told you that much?
Her goal, she got me talking about my life and my goals and everything that I essentially was working towards. Now, summertime comes, we're talking over the phone, getting to know each other even more. And then when we get back to school, I hear this whisper in a wind.
A wind.
Like a breeze. That's your wife. Huh? What? The hell you say? Nah, whatever. We go through the whole fall semester, our band going all over the place. We have little interactions here or there. We talk, hey, have a little small conversation. Hey, how you doing?
We still were on the phone a lot too.
Still on the phone a lot. You know, she would call me up. Oh my gosh, these birds, they pooped all over my car. And I'm like, why are you calling me?
Huh? There was an assault on my car with a whole bunch of birds.
Y'all, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And, during this time period, I was under the impression that she was seeing somebody else already. And, so I'm not even interested in pursuing a relationship. Despite hearing in the wind, this is your wife.
Well, I didn't. It's okay. He said all that to say, I asked him to come with me late at night to help me clear off this car before sun came up. So, I didn't want to have people, talking about, oh gosh, I don't want to cuss, my poopy car. So,
yeah.
I called him. I didn't see what the issue was. It's not like I was asking him to be my boyfriend. Can you just come over here with me so I won't get raped? Oh Lord, let's not say those words. So I won't be assaulted or anything. I don't want nobody to get me. I just need somebody with me because in the middle of the night, this place could be dangerous. Can you come with me so I can clean my car?
And I agreed.
He said he'll do it in the name of the band.
Yeah, it in service of the band. Because at this point, I was an upperclassman in the band. And folks know how that looks to the optics to people.
Whatever. I just rolled my eyes and said, come on, please, stack nabbit.
Fairly new people to the band, to this person that's established in the band. Like, something going on over there.
So Tyrone,
ain't nothing going on over here. She got somebody.
So Tyrone says that it was about, was it 9 months later?
Yeah, about 6 to 9 months later.
I had a dream. It was a sexually explicit dream. And I told him about this dream.
And I'm like,
And
what?
this was like one of the last days that we'd be seeing him because he is from the DC area and I'm
DC,
from South Carolina.
DMV.
So he'd be over 8 hours away from me. But I told him, and the Lord, yeah, he kind of broke a pact that Tyrone said not to do.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
have no
yeah,
girl
yeah.
come up to me
Yeah.
saying that they want to be with me before I go. And this was like pretty much one of the last events before we were to be separated again.
And I was
So
like, Lord, what is you doing? We had this conversation. Didn't I tell you not to be bringing nobody up to me around graduation talking about I liked you and I think I would have wanted to be with you, but now you're gone.
but see, I didn't even say that. I just said I had a dream. So
And
I
I'm
mean, the
just
Lord didn't
like,
fail you.
really, Lord? And then it'd be the person that in a whisper in the wind, you said that was my wife.
Mind you, guys, I didn't know this till way after we got married. Moving forward, right? So he goes home, I go home, we continue to talk or whatever. And after how long?
A couple months later,
Eventually he
like
asked,
3-4 months later, a wonderful gentleman by the name of Steve Harvey came up with this scenario of
hey Misha.
a 90-day rule. And so I kind of danced around it and played around with it with her unknowingly to her. Gave her a 90-day
Are you
sabbatical.
serious? Like, I seriously didn't know that.
Yeah.
What do you mean 90 days?
It was a 90-day trial, how you.
Okay, so as we were talking as friends,
Yeah.
you put me on the 90-day trial, and then after we finished the 90-day trial, you asked me to be your baby girl. Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
I'm over here finding things out as we speak, guys. Okay. Okay.
I told you this once.
You ain't tell me.
forgot.
Whatever time. Anyway. So he asked me to be his baby girl. And after that, we had 5 lovely years of a long distance relationship.
Yep. DC to South Carolina for 5 years.
Not easy at all.
Not easy. Ups and downs. Including a segment where I told her I didn't love her. Not in the way that she thought. I was like, I knew I extremely enjoyed her presence. Because at that time, like I said, being hurt, I didn't really know what love was.
The camera's right there.
And so, because I didn't know the true definition of what love was at the time, I told her I didn't love her or didn't know if I loved her. And that was around year 2 of 5.
The reason why I roll my eyes is because he was at least he did tell me that he felt like Music Soul Child, which is one of the people that he listened to a lot. And the song that would always be referenced is Teach Me How to Love. So he felt like he didn't know what it was, how that stuff worked. And I'm like, I've been a Captain Saver for a long time, feeling like I was going to be able to tell everybody how to, you know what I'm saying? You have a horrible relationship. I'm better. Let me show you what it is to do this, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was up to the task or whatever. And at first he would tell me that he loved me with the love of the Lord. I would reject that often. Every single time he said it. Because how you going to love me with the love of the Lord? The Lord love everybody. I need to know if Tyrone loved Jennifer. That's all I need to know. So
I did. I just didn't
you just
know
said no.
what level of love that was. That's how, I had to do some soul searching. some Bible reading.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I got it now. I think I got it right now. So I said, I love you. And she's like, for reals? You really mean it? I was like, yeah. I'm sorry.
But when that did happen, he told me he didn't love me. I cried.
She
And I cried.
almost didn't talk to me for like 2 to 2.5 weeks.
But the reason why I continued to stay with him was because I knew that he loved me because of his actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, have I come to see you? Of course, I've come to see you by then.
Mhm.
So it was his actions, how he treated me, the way he dealt with me, even over the phone around his friends and family. I knew I was his girl, and I knew that he loved me. He didn't know.
So
So that's
a nice guy. That's how I looked at it. I was just being a nice guy.
But you don't do the things that we were doing, and I'm not talking about sex, but you don't do the things that you were doing for me and basically taking care of me. Like, the small things, like making sure that I'm not walking on the sidewalk, closer to the cars, because he wants to make sure that I'm good and don't have to tell my daddy I'm dead because I ain't make sure she was good. So, he did a lot of things just to show that he loved me. Flowers and all that stuff. He showed it. He just didn't know that that's what was going on. So that's why I was able to stay around during that point. And then the next low point was when he was getting his master's.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, going to graduate school is tough, especially when you're in an accelerated program
and a long distance relationship.
In and out within a year. Shout outs to Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida.
So he did all of this online, and pretty much the way that our stated relationship is phone calls. I'd be on the phone with him, and I know that he wasn't with me. He was apparently doing something else all the time. So I just sit on the phone till he fell asleep. And like, well, okay, bye. And I really, that was like really the roughest time of our relationship.
Yeah, I came and visit with the family.
Yeah, vacation
Orlando,
and stuff. Yeah,
on a
you
vacation, did. Risky, failing the class. Thank God.
He didn't. So
in that whole program, I failed one class.
You had to do that over again. Yeah,
and I had to do that one over. And from there, it was smooth sailing all the way to graduation. And at Full Sail, if you fail one class, that sets you back 1 month in that particular program. And so that set me back from graduating at least 1 month out of a 13-month program.
Well, that's not bad time. Anywho.
It's not bad, but, I was in deep concentration. And
it took a toll on our relationship. But, after everything was said and done, I had him back. And as we kept on going further, it was, getting into 4 years, and it's like something needs to happen.
The ultimatum.
We need to get to a space where we are moving forward, and we're just here. Something's got to change. Some major movements need to happen, and I was feeling the way.
She was feeling the way, and me, I was like, I need to make some things happen.
Of course.
Because here I am, fresh out of college for the second time, and trying to find a job, and blase, and staying at home with my folks, and all that comes with that, and trying to,
build something.
Find myself, trying to build something.
And something. Now, I know a lot of people dump on Steve Harvey, but I actually read the bulk of Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And This was during the time where I was like, what is going on? So I read that book, like I said, the bulk of it. And the biggest thing that he talked about that touched me and made me say, oh, is how a man wants to be a provider. What's taking him so long is that he wants to get things together so things can be right. And it's like, you know what? Okay, all of this makes sense now. Okay, let me get off his back and stuff like that. And it came time for us. We went on a cruise together. That was a lot of fun. And
I enjoyed that.
when that cruise was done, I do remember being at a friend's house and being like, what are you doing? Okay, if we get to the next year and ain't no ring on my finger, I'm gonna have to find somebody else to do life with because this is taking too long. Okay, we've been together for 5 years. Okay, something's got to change.
Well, at that time, it was 4 years.
It was going to be 5 years by the time we made it to the that next year, right? You do dates, I don't know.
Nah, it was 4, and here we are. That particular friend's house that she was talking about, unknown to her, I had the rings with me. I was just cold feet, and I also wanted to do the proper thing and speak with her father as well. And I hadn't spoken with her father by that time. So I waited.
He had the rings with an S.
I actually snuck down to South Carolina to see her and wanted to talk to her father in person, in her presence. And he was out of town tending to his mother at the time. And I actually spoke with her mother at that time. And we you know, the way, sneak down, like I was on the phone with her acting like I was in DC and wasn't. I was there.
Because you drove the 8 hours by yourself.
I drove 8 hours by myself. Indeed.
That's love.
And I think it was a turn and burn at that too.
Yeah, because you went back home right after that.
And, I snuck up to the door. Her mom answered the door, and I was like, yeah, I'm here. And she's like, okay, cool. Sneak me in. And I'm still on the phone with her, and I was like, yeah, what you doing? Come on outside.
You didn't say come outside. You said look outside, because these are the things that he do. He, first of all, my husband, he's like real prophetic like. So he would say, I see what you're doing. And so when he would do that, that was nothing new. He said, look outside. I look outside, there was, a car that I've never seen before. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I think my mother called for me or something like that for me to come outside of my room, open the door, there Tyrone was, and I closed the door back.
And she started crying.
Don't be surprising me.
She cried.
Yeah, and?
She didn't think I would just pop up on her. And that's the kind of love that I had for her. That I would do things like that.
Oh.
Even though I knew I didn't have it all together. And I wanted to propose then as well, but her father wasn't there. So I ended up abandoning that plan. And then me and her father talked over the phone. Like, I think the next day or later on that night.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I received his blessing.
What mommy say?
Oh, she was good.
Of course she was good. Mama like you.
Look, I think me coming down on a pop-up like that, it's like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's real.
This is real right here. But one of the biggest things that he said to me in that conversation was, y'all are friends.
And he's been telling us that since the first time he met Tyrone. You're friends first.
And I kind of hold on to that and hold on to very dearly, and you know that gave me that extra boost to go ahead and do it.
Really? Oh, because you had the
I had the blessing
the
and
blessing.
everything. So she was on her way up to DC for Christmas,
Yes, I came for.
and
Oh Lord.
she drove. She didn't fly. She drove
I
all the way,
drove. I was making my way downtown.
and I was like, "Oh, this is this thing getting real." And so, you know,
I think I just drove to save money.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was a money.
oh yeah, because for Christmas, yeah, Christmas travel, with planes. I took planes to see him. Of course, we saw each other plenty of times throughout our relationship. I got familiar with Amtrak through this relationship. I got familiar with flying through this relationship, and that's another thing that I really liked about having a long distance relationship. A great excuse to take off a week, a great excuse to take off some days, a good weekend to be with him and find out what it is to travel, be on the airplane, be on the train. I love the train. You get good sleep, though it takes forever to get where you're trying to go to. If it's a lot of hours, it's still good sleep. But anywho, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, so that Christmas time, driving up, it was the 8 hours by myself. Making sure to stop whenever I felt sleepy, and just taking my time to get up there. Being that I'm driving, there's no rush. There was no real event to go to or anything, so we just come to see each other. Where didn't we stay in like a Holiday Inn or something like that? We stayed in a hotel.
Yeah, yeah. That time you stayed in a
Good
Holiday Inn,
times.
and we enjoyed our time there.
Yes, we did.
Christmas, kind of cold, and you know, we went out to dinner, movies, and everything.
Yeah, we went to IHOP on my last day there. Excuse me, last day night or whatever. Being that I'm driving home, and I'm a night owl, so I don't mind driving at night. Um, we watched a movie on my last day. Then we got from the movies. We went to IHOP, and I was like, because if you remember, I gave the ultimatum: if we're going into the new year without no ring, I don't know how this is gonna work. And also, that time being with him during Christmas, that was the day after Christmas, the 26th of December. I knew that I wasn't going to see him again in person before the new year. So I was like, it must be happening. So we were up in IHOP, and I was just looking at him like,
How's the omelets?
yeah. No, I remember what I had. I had the steak and eggs.
Yeah, and I had the Spanish omelet.
Jeez
Or
Louise.
at the time, that's what they called it.
I was just over him. I was over him. And then he was looking at me, seeing me pout and everything. And he was like, Jennifer, I'm not going to propose to you in an IHOP. And I was like,
what's wrong with you?
Well,
Who
true.
would propose to somebody at an IHOP at Christmas? Not me.
And I thank you, Ty.
Not with this one.
Gosh.
I'm asking for a death wish.
You knew better.
Yeah. And a horrible story to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time. What did you propose? I proposed in the IHOP over breakfast. We had the pancakes and omelets.
Steak and eggs.
She had the steak and eggs, and myself, I had the chicken.
We might have to go to IHOP today. I'm getting hungry.
Chicken fajita. That's what they call it.
Yeah. So when we were done eating, it felt like we were just trying to spend like every little bitty moment. It was already dark and everything since we watched the movie like at 7 something. It was already late. So I was like, well, I guess it's time to go home.
Yeah. Well. Hey, Shawty. Come with me right quick.
So I got in his vehicle because we drove separately, so I could just go straight to Columbia from DC or whatever, straight to South Carolina from DC. So when he said, "Well, come with me. I'll take you for a ride." I like rides,
Yay!
so he took me in his car over to the National Harbor in DC. Google it.
Beautiful
And
place.
it is really beautiful. And he took me to the Gaylord. This is like
Gaylord Hotel.
a really
in National Harbor.
huge hotel, and you can see it as you're going from Virginia to
Into Maryland.
Maryland on that huge bridge. You could just see it's just huge, it's beautiful, and it was all decked out for Christmas. I love that. So when we got there and we decided, he told me we're gonna go into the Gaylord. I'm like, yay! I like to see hotels. You know what I'm saying? And so we went there, and we went over where in like a area that not a lot of people were, and that was near the elevator actually. And there was a little seat beside the elevator, just enough room for us two. And he proposed. He didn't get on one knee. I already knew that wasn't going to happen. But instead of, because he said,
I'm a tall fella and I'm a big guy, and getting down on one knee, it was gonna hurt.
So that's why you said you'll never get on one knee?
It would hurt. But on top of that, in my opinion, it ruins the surprise.
Because you know it's coming.
Because you see them get down on a knee. Oh, I know it's coming. Nah, not with this one. I know she likes surprises. So I decided to surprise her was just...
Well, I kind of knew it was coming because you said, no, I didn't know.
She didn't know. Because the first time I said it with ring number one, she was like, what?
No, the first thing you said was, what if I had more than one ring? I'm like, what? I mean, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's, just, give me what you got. You know what I'm saying? So what from your perspective, what happened? I'm very curious because we're finding out things on today.
Oh yeah. I looked to her and made the first proposal, and she was like, what?
That's what I said?
Are you serious? Are you for real? And she began to tear up. After, I was like, what if I got you 2 rings? And so I showed her the first ring, and she was like, first ring was the ring that I chose. Oh, I hit her with the second one. The one that she was looking for. And I asked her again, like, will you marry me?
I'm about to cry now. I cried like a baby.
And she cried some more. She barely scratched out the yes.
Oh, wow.
That's how overwhelmed with emotion she was in the moment. I got my yes, though.
Yes, you did.
She was like, yeah.
So that's pretty much the story. From there, we just continue to listen to, the wisdom of our elders, the great people around us. And, there's no way I'll be able to say that our marriage is perfect or has been perfect. There's no way that I'd be able to say that. There are a lot of things that we had to overcome to get to where we are. And I'm sure there's going to be things that we need to overcome in the future. But that is our story. I hope in the future we can hear more stories in the future. I hope to hear more stories in the future from others. Everybody loves a good love story, a good coming together story.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to, you can always let us know. Please like this video. Please make sure to comment on this video, say hello, all that good stuff. And of course, we would
And
love for you to subscribe
subscribe.
to Matters of the Heart podcast. We are on YouTube. Actually, right now, we are streaming also on Facebook right now with our Faithful Warrior Ministries Facebook page there. But we would love for you to subscribe to Matters of the Heart. This is really a great baby of ours that we've been wanting to do, been talking about it for years and years and years, and it's really being birthed and coming into fruition. So just so happy to be able to get to this space. Is there anything else that we need to say before we go?
No, I will ask this question though.
What's the question?
Do you love him, Jennifer?
Yes. I love you guys dearly. Please continue to share love. And also remember that communication is key. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.